Welcome to Hanksy Panksy No Bollocks, a little podcast where two bruvs who are all sixes and sevens got into a right barney with Tom Hanks, spent too long with that Sherman tanker Dwayne Johnson, they took a long butchers at Keanu Reeves, and are now spending some time with our favourite baked bean, Sandra Bullock. I'm Sam Siegel.
I'm Luke Patrick, and welcome, folks, one and all, to season fucking 4 of this totally stupid show.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome back, my dude. Slapping the people with a surprise drop, eh?
Soft dropping a new season on the
Yeah.
feed.
Yeah. I believe I pitched this as because to part the curtains a little bit, we were talking about what we wanted to do, and I pitched it as pulling a Beyonce
Mm-hmm.
and just sort of dropping lemonade on people, right? Just
Yeah,
like
just doing it.
here it is. Here's season 4.
Yeah, and so here it is. Also the first intro I've ever done research for.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
actually, was that actual Cockney rhyming slang?
you know it was, my friend.
Oh, that's choice. The people overseas are gonna just eat that
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I'm trying to really manifest like a London live show.
Yeah. For all 12 people that would show up. But
So yeah, I'm really trying to, our baked bean, Sandra Bullock. I think our listeners are really gonna vibe with that in a
oh,
big
for
way.
sure. I
Um,
do. I don't know what it means, and yet here I
Queen.
am vibing. Oh, baked bean queen.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't have the regal aesthetic to
It
it, does it?
doesn't.
Hmm.
Which I think is also going to cause problems for the other thing that I'm manifesting that I manifest every season except one of them, and we know which one. Really want Sandra Bullock to be on this show. If we could get Sandy B to come in here, but I feel like in episode one, calling her our favorite baked bean
Yeah.
is gonna be a problem.
My dude, it had not even occurred to me to think that Sandy B would come on this show.
Oh, that's because she never will. But
Yeah.
as always, I dream.
Because there's like, all right, Tom Hanks he's been on podcasts.
He's been on podcasts, not ours, you fucker.
Yeah. He's too afraid of our questions. Um,
Frankly, he should be.
he should be, but like he's done podcasts and has like podcast dad energy. So like
Oh,
he
yeah.
makes sense. Dwayne, we don't talk about. Keanu would for sure be on this show
I think he would.
if we could just get in touch with him.
And I don't know how to do that.
Because I think
Um,
he'd be all like, "You've seen all of my movies? Whoa,
And then he'd be like, "Do you like all of them?" And we'd go, "No,
no."
we actually dislike most of them,
Oh
Keanu."
yeah, that makes sense. They're pretty bad.
He'd be like, "What was your least favorite?" And we'd go, "Generation." And then because he's such a mensch, I think he would go, "I don't know. That one had its finer points."
Yeah, like I liked the direction of that one.
Yeah, it was doing some really different things. And it's like,
Yeah.
God damn it, Keanu, can you just say it sucked?
Yeah, can't you just be like, yeah, that one fucking sucked.
The, the that one blew chunks.
That one blew serious chunks and sold the Buick all over the place.
Can I say your Keanu impression is really good?
Yeah, I've just been sitting on this. Turns
Yeah.
out.
We did a whole season on this fucking guy, and you never bust that thing out.
Yeah, and then season 4, as we slide into Sandy B's
Mm-hmm.
oeuvre, all of a sudden I'm like busting out a pretty good, a serviceable Keanu.
A pretty good. Sorry, I know I look distracted. I'm trying to get the deaf cat into my lap so she won't scream through the whole episode.
I see, because I can't hear the screaming.
Yeah, my mic can.
Yeah, no, I always hear it in post, and I'm like,
Yeah,
damn.
she's loud.
She's very deaf.
So deaf.
She just doesn't know, man.
Oh, here she is. We got her.
Yay!
We got her.
It's a kitty.
It's a kitty
Aw,
cat.
sweet
Um,
baby.
but Luke,
Yeah,
season four, Sandra
season
Bullock.
4. Sandra Bullock. We've been keeping this one well under our hats.
Yes, we've been very secretive. about our first foray out of the manosphere.
Out of the manosphere, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Feels so far pretty
Pretty
good.
good. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm curious. Do we explain why we picked Sandra Bullock, or do we just talk about our thoughts on Sandra Bullock as we're starting?
Ooh, let's do both because I
Okay.
feel like we need to commemorate the fact that we're starting a new season in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a pretty solid way to do it. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Sandy B is a bona fide banger of a pick.
Yes.
Like that, it doesn't need a ton of explanation, but I don't
No.
know. What else do you want to say about why we picked Sandra Bullock?
So we've learned some things doing
Yes.
this show for 3 years. I
Oh,
think
longer than that, bud.
for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think nearly 5 years, upsettingly.
Yeah.
Um, I think I think the two biggest ones for me is like not too many bummers
Yeah.
and also not too many.
Not too many in general.
Yeah,
Yes.
not too many. We fucked up with Keanu because he did too many.
Too many and too many bummers.
Too many bummers, too many movies.
Yeah.
Now, oddly, I don't think that was our mistake season. Obviously, that was season two where we did a person who turned out to be a bit of a dirtbag.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing we learned though, right? It's like, well, we also learned through season two that you need to shake things up. You got to have a variety of flicks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dwayne is a particularly weird case because you need someone who's willing to go outside of their perfectly manicured lawn
Uh-huh.
and their very specifically spun image and just like do stuff. But Keanu, too far in that direction.
We overcorrected
We
to a guy who's
overcorrected.
like, I need to do something different all the time, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna get out there.
I'm gonna get I'm gonna do some pretty wackadoo shit.
Yes.
So
Um,
we did entertain some other folks that will go unmentioned, other than one person who I can mention,
mhm.
because before the incident, we had talked about doing Will Smith. That's not
We
happening
had talked
anymore.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm still a little sad about that because
me
I
too.
I think it would have been fun to every episode pose the question to you, Will Smith Smith?
And I would have loved to have answered the question, Will Smith Smith?
Yeah,
Um,
but unfortunately, that's not happening.
that's not happening. Although, just to paint a picture of where our minds are at, folks, as we go into season four, it's only like 30 credits for Will
Mm-hmm.
Smith. A lot of variety,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of bummers. That's a question mark.
There is that one movie all about him oofing it.
Oofing it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
literally. Um, so we're not doing that one because of the substance behind all of it, because of the person at the core of it. Um, but Sandy B, pretty
Sandy
feeling
B.
feeling really positive about America's sweetheart, as Wikipedia calls her. Um,
I'm glad you saw that too, because
yeah,
that actually was kind of news to me.
yeah.
But I get it.
I do. I totally get it. Yeah, I'm excited. I do. There are some things I want to look for in this season,
Okay.
which is Sandra Bullock is German. Did you know this
I found that out from her Wikipedia.
from her Wikipedia page? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've seen her speaking at German award ceremonies, like on
Have
YouTube,
you?
in German.
Oh,
So for the
wow.
folks at home who are playing along, her mother is German, and she spent 12 years in her youth growing up in Austria or Germany.
And her mom was an opera singer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
Fucking
that
wild.
isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
So she's a fluent German speaker, like it's her native language,
Mm-hmm.
as well as English. So I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for a little bit of that uh Deutsche, I think people would say.
That gut Deutsche?
That good Deutsche?
Wait, hold on. That gut deutsche Sprach?
Good Deutsche Sprach.
Hey, it's
Um,
coming back little by little.
well, that's why I'm excited because I know that the day we see it, I'm going to come back to Willkommen to Hanksy Panksy or whatever it
Ooh.
is in German.
Willkommen zu Hanksy Panksy keine Bollocks.
Because the bit we had running with Keanu was is Keanu left-handed? The answer is yes. It became very clear.
We kind of dropped the bit because it became too clear.
It's yeah, no, he is for
Uh-huh.
sure. So I'm waiting for some German. Is there anything that you're looking forward to in season 4 that you're going to keep a steely eye out for?
So I think one thing that will be interesting is that in all our previous seasons, there has been a grizzling
Yeah.
for all our quarries. I sincerely believe that there will be zero grizzling.
Oh, an anti-Grizzle watch.
Here's the thing. I think she's going to be relatively unchanged.
I don't think she's aged a fucking day.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it a little bit, but in this movie, which came out in 1987, she looks exactly like the Sandra Bullock that you could find wherever she lives currently.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I thought the same exact because I was like, oh, I wonder if I'll recognize Sandy B.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Immediately. There she
Yeah.
is.
Whereas, like, you look at Tom Hanks and Bosom Buddies, that's a different man. You look
Different
at
too.
Keanu Reeves in River's Edge, that's a different man.
Yeah.
You look at Dwayne Johnson in The Scorpion King, that is actually a different man.
It's a different guy. Yeah, for sure. It's
Sandy B
very
is the same lady.
same lady for sure. Yeah. It will be interesting. So we're keeping an eye out for Deutsche Sprache
Yeah, Deutsche Sprache.
and a little bit of we're gonna track the grizzling or the lack
Yeah,
thereof as we go.
I think it's gonna be interesting to have a season with a Corey who time has been kind to.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
it's not been kind to our fellas so far.
No, Keanu's probably, I don't know. I don't,
Look, he's aged like a fine fucking wine.
yeah.
He looks good, but he does look very different.
Yeah, the
Um,
difference between Bill and Ted 1 and
mhm.
John Wick 4 is noticeable.
Stark.
Yeah.
Hell, Bill and Ted 1 and Bill and Ted 3.
3, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's bananas how many movies we've seen, my guy.
And very few of them are good.
Yeah. When you break it down, yeah,
Yeah. Um,
absolutely.
we have one other piece of business that we should probably get out of the way now. You're listening to this, and you're also hearing us talk a lot about Keanu Reeves, and you're probably noticing we didn't do Sonic 3. Let me explain that.
Oh, yeah.
We will, but I hate going to the movie theater a whole lot. Luke, I don't know where you're at on it. Um,
I'm pro movie theater,
I'm
but not for
anti.
Sonic 3.
It's fucking hard now to find time to go to the movie theater. So we're just not doing that.
Yeah.
We're just gonna watch it when it comes out on streaming. We will do Sonic 3. I promise you that.
Yeah.
And I promise you, dear listener, I will not watch Sonic 1 or 2
Yeah, I'm so eager to do this when it comes out on streaming
when it comes out on streaming.
because I have seen Sonic 1 in very unusual circumstances.
Yes, and I cannot wait for how that influences your watch of Sonic 3. But but yeah, I won't watch 1 or 2. I know virtually nothing about these movies. I
Yeah.
did play, well, that's a
Yeah.
conversation for
Yeah.
another time. This is, however, season 4. God
The,
damn it.
this is season 4, a Sandy B season.
Sandy B, no Bullocks,
No
which is
Bullocks.
confusing because it's all Bullocks,
It's
baby.
all Bullocks. That's the irony. We're
Yeah.
doing an ironic title this time.
But no Bullocks. Well, all Bullocks, No bollocks.
No bollocks. Yeah, for
Oh,
sure. We're converting. Not only are we a conservative Republican podcast now, we're also
oh,
one of these like straight talking, down to brass tacks, no
yeah.
goofing at all podcasts.
I was gonna say we're not a conservative podcast anymore. We're the preeminent feminist podcast of our age.
Oh, yeah, I'm down for that. That sounds
Yeah,
better.
I think it makes a lot of sense for two white dudes to be the preeminent
Yeah.
um feminist podcast of our
Yeah,
age.
agreed.
Um,
All
and
right, yeah.
let me just say, man, I am losing words left and right. Um, w- uh,
You okay over there? You doing
yeah,
all right?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
But I'm always tired.
And this is a late afternoon record, which I feel like in some ways is like worse than a nocturnal emission.
It's got a different vibe, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's like a
Um,
post-work day vibe.
Jesus Christ, what is it, man? Where your advocacy, your it is includes like people of color and indigenous folks and
Inclusivity?
that's closer to it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
Intersectional feminists?
intersectional. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
We are the preeminent intersectional feminist podcast of our
Clearly.
age
Clearly
because we're two
because
white guys.
we remembered the term intersectional feminism just like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I look, I don't have to remember the word. I live it, baby. How was your watch of 1987's Hangmen?
Hangmen is the movie we started with, folks.
Yes.
It's on Tubi. It's
Okay.
it's riddled with ads. Like Tubi is, I hope they're bringing in bank because if they're not, it's fucking pathetic how many ads there are
How
in
many ads
Tubi.
did you get?
It's probably 4 to 5 every 15 minutes.
Woof.
I'm telling you, I hope Tubi is like got a PayPal set up and
hmm
they're in brawny paper towels is just shoveling cash their direction.
So that's what you were getting.
Brawny, a lot of like weirdly predatory like credit ads of like, hey, you have bad credit, we'll give you $300 and you'll see immediate improvement.
Wait, brawny paper towels?
Like these are different ads, but yes, brownie
Yeah,
paper towels, different
not
ads
not
for.
Bounty. They're
Oh,
they're like off. Wait, because there is a brawny brand because it's got the hot lumberjack on it. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I think
Are
it's
they
just hot.
doing? Are they doing like B tier paper towel ads?
That is an extremely good point that I had
Because
not considered.
that's the grimmest shit
On Tubi.
on Tubi. I don't. I honestly I can't parse who it's worse for. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's worse for Brawny that they're like the only people who check our ads are fucking Tubi, or if Tubi the only paper towel brand they can score is Brawny.
Is
Everyone's
brownie.
like, ugh, I guess choice,
Yeah,
which
for
I assume
sure.
is in the ad. It's like someone trying to get Bounty and it goes away, and they're
Yeah.
like, I guess I'll do Brawny.
Well, if I remember one of the ads, it's a person, a guy in his house, and he says like, "Man, I wish there was a hot lumberjack here."
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "We got a hot lumberjack." And he's like,
Mm.
"Great, can I get the hot lumberjack?" And they're like, "No, but you can have paper towels." And he goes, "That's, I guess."
That's all I need for this nut.
We give you suggestive material to fill these paper towels with. That's the Brawny
Exactly.
guarantee. I work for Brawny now.
And then I imagine you do see him nut into the paper towel, and then he goes, "Oh, it didn't even absorb it all." It just soaks right through.
The slower doesn't quite get it all. So
The slower dripper througher.
the slower dripper through her. Let me write that down. The slower dripper through her. Yeah. So my watch is fine, man. It's feeling pretty cool to be back in. Well, we'll talk about it, but we are back in the 80s with this one.
Oh God, are we back at the
We
80s?
are deep in the 80s with Hangmen.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, how was your watch?
Okay, I did not go the Tubi route because I
Okay.
thought because I did a brief check and it seems like you have to have a subscription to Tubi.
Oh no.
Oh,
I don't
well,
have Tubi don't know me at all.
well, I didn't know that. I thought
Yeah.
you had to have a subscription for Tubi. So I went the Crackle route because Crackle, unlike Vudu, has an Xbox app. So I
Oh.
take the fucking time to install Crackle on my goddamn Xbox. I boot it up and it gives me a blank white screen and a cursor. Nothing ever loads on Crackle. I'm just left with this blank white void and a cursor that does move around, but not across the whole screen. Is the interesting thing is that it does hit some walls, and
That's
I don't know what's happening. I
yeah.
hammered buttons, nothing ever happened. I closed the app, I restarted it. It gave me the same white void, the same black cursor that hit invisible walls. And when I say hit, I mean it would actually bounce off of some sort of invisible wall. And it was like the bounds of the space for the cursor,
Yeah.
bizarre, meaningless, confusing. Because it would get to all the way to the left of the screen, but not all the way up, and like maybe two-thirds of the way to the right, and I, like not quite halfway down. It
Whoa.
was so weird. So I said, "Fuck you, Crackle." Then I got Fandango at home, which I think might also be Voodoo. I'm really unclear on
I think
that.
it is voodoo,
I think it's
actually.
Voodoo, but it is also Fandango at home. The app says Fandango at home, but it had some Voodoo vibes. And Luke, I hate the fucking internet. I
Yeah.
hate the modern day internet because this doesn't make any fucking sense. I could rent it from Fandango at home, but I could also stream it for free with ads, which is what I did. And so I spent a not insignificant portion of my night watching fucking Wicked ads.
Over and over, I assume.
Oh my, every ad break, which I think actually I said oof, like I had a better ad experience. I don't think I did. It was 4 to 5 every 15 minutes.
It's crazy how many they jam into these
So many.
breaks.
And let me tell you, every ad break did start with Wicked, and then it did an ad for Conclave, which I'm actually interested in,
Yeah.
and then two ads for random shit that I didn't even pay attention to.
Probably brawny paper towels.
No, I couldn't tell you.
If you didn't nut because of the sexy lumberjack, then probably
Yeah,
not.
I didn't cake anything with cum that night.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, I use that as phone surfing time, really.
Yeah.
Um, I gotta tell you, this may not be a popular opinion. I don't know. I don't give a fucking shit about Wicked.
So
I'm real
you want to dig into that.
a little bit, a little bit. I'm fucking mad at how much I'm having to see. The ad campaign for Wicked is wild.
Oh, they're spending brawny money on these ads.
They might be spending bounty money,
Yeah.
honestly. You can't escape the Wicked ads. It's
No,
wild to me, and I don't want to see them. I don't want to see these ads. I'm tired of it. I don't know when the movie came out, but if I had to guess, I would have said 6 months ago.
it is heading for streaming because we were just looking, and I think Wednesday is the last day. Wednesday of this week is the last day that you can go see it in theaters at our beloved theater here in town.
Which
Um,
means we're probably gonna get a whole new set of ads that is
mhm,
available on streaming. I'm gonna
mhm.
die, man.
Yeah, if you're upset now,
Hmm.
oh, oh man,
In any case,
yeah,
did slam down the movie, with multiple ad interruptions, in my evening. And my guy, this was a healing watch.
Yeah.
We're gonna dig into it, not because of the movie. The
No.
movie did not heal me,
No, no, no.
but knowing that we were embarking on a whole new adventure filled me with an excitement that should be clinically significant.
Yeah. It's
Um,
statistically relevant for sure.
it's relevant, and I think it should concern both of us how happy starting a new season makes us.
I mean, literally the other day when we were talking about what we wanted to do, whether we wanted to do more Pretty Pretty Princess
Which
or
we will return to Pretty Pretty
oh,
Princess.
we
We're
gonna go
not ditching
back.
it,
No.
okay? We're pausing Pretty Pretty
Yeah.
Princess. We might do a mid-season break. We don't know what we're going to do, but we are going to finish out Pretty Pretty Princess because those princesses need to be ranked.
Yeah, we gotta rank every princess. For sure. But I literally the day before we had that conversation was thinking to myself, it'd be kind of nice to be back on project.
In our texting about it, you were, again, I would say, upsettingly excited
I'm
about the
pretty
prospect.
I'm pretty stoked to be back on project, man.
Are you at all concerned that you're that stoked?
For Sandy V, no, not a bit.
Ooh, now I hadn't considered that. I mostly was considering the angle of being really excited to start this process that has hurt us every single time.
I think we found the winner, but check
I,
back in six
hey,
months.
bud, don't fucking say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Like
Do not say that.
I've been on that IMDb, I've been poking. I'm feeling good.
I
I'm
feel good
feeling
about it, but I also know that literally the definition of insanity is this podcast, where we
true.
start every season being like, I think we're in for a good time. And then at the end of it, we're like, I wish I was dead.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we did start with let's dig into it because it's 30 minutes into this podcast.
Yeah. Can you break down the plot of Hangmen?
I have been trying to figure out
Because
how
I
to do
don't think you
this.
can.
Yeah, I think I have. Here's what I'm gonna say about the plot of Hangman. I'm gonna give it my bet. I have two versions of this plot.
Ooh, okay.
There's the detailed version, then there's the very simple version.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
very interested in the detailed version because to give you an idea, I don't think the movie knows the detailed
No,
version.
which is why the short version comes up.
Yes.
Because, all right, here's the longer quote version, which is this movie does not make sense. So here's what I grokked. There's a schlubby dude who is sort of a John Wick, we're told.
Are you talking Mr. Danny?
Not Danny the Kid.
No, I don't remember his dad's name, so I just called him Mr. Danny the
Mr.
whole time.
Danny. Yeah, I'm talking about something green. Adam? It's
Hey
not
bud,
Adam.
it's Mr. Danny.
It's Mr. Danny. I'm so down to just okay. So Mr. Danny is like an ex special forces from Nam guy who we're
Yes.
led to believe has done some John Wick stuff with
Yeah.
the company, CIA, a bunch of other
Hmm.
people. Like he's a known entity. Here's where things immediately go off the rails. There is a senator, I think, who's like, we gotta get this guy. And then they go
Wait,
after his,
hey,
huh?
I'm sorry. I think you're actually wrong.
I'm skipping the part about the hallway massacre. I'm
No,
skipping it.
that was the senator getting assassinated.
Then who's the guy in the shadows?
He's a rogue CIA agent.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He has a senator assassinated, and then he decides, I think years later, Mr. Danny has got to go.
Mr. Danny's got to go. So the whole movie is essentially them going after his son as leverage to get to Mr.
Mhm.
Danny because they try to kill Mr. Danny and he like hilariously John Wicks in quotes some guys. Because again, I cannot emphasize how much of a generic dad this guy looks like.
I put somewhere in my notes, he is so unmenacing.
No, he's got like thinning hair, a little bit of a beer gut. He's like 5'6".
And he's got this like kind of like little southern twang, but
A
it's
little
not
sun twang.
it ain't all that deep either. It's just it's not this high, but it's not that low either. So
No.
he just seems like a friendly guy that you'd meet at a barbecue.
Yeah, for real. And there's a scene later in the movie where he's buying guns from, again, it has a lot of John Wick DNA, but he's getting a lot of like guns and ammunition from a guy. And he's got these quippy lines that are supposed to be menacing and badass, but he delivers them, and you're just like, man, I bet you head to HOA and you're just like, yeah, can I get some fucking M16s?
I think my favorite one is he goes, "Are you gonna buy me dinner before you fuck me?"
Are you gonna kiss me after you fuck me?
That's what it is. My
Yeah.
bad.
So, but again, he says it in this
Yeah.
like
You gonna
just
kiss me
jovial.
after you fuck me? It's just, it just comes out. He's got limp dick energy.
He does. So anyway, they go after his son Danny,
Hmm.
whose girlfriend is Sandy B. She is in this movie. She is load bearing. She's barely in it, but she's
But
here.
importantly, and the reason I signed off on this was because for the VHS release, she's on the cover and they put her name like on like in the title cast, whatever,
Yeah,
specifically because she got famous after this movie, but not
it's
because of it.
amazing. It is
So they
so
like
choice.
retroactively were like, Sandra Bullock's in this one.
Sandy B's in, we got one thing right,
Yeah.
and it was casting Sandy B as damsel in distress girlfriend.
Lisa Edwards, I believe.
Yeah, it sounds right. Um, so the whole movie is just his son is on the lam from these folks, and he's trying to cobble together the team that his dad ran with in Nam
Hmm.
up until the point that he gets abducted. Him and Lisa, Sandy B, get taken by the rogue CIA agent. Then the gang, the Nam groups all together. The blonde guy, by the way, was the writer director.
Hey, I noted that and I have some fucking thoughts about this man.
I do too. It startles me that he's perhaps one of the better actors in this movie, which is what?
Well, Sandy B is obviously the best.
Sandy B is the best, hands
Yeah.
down, and I want to talk about that. But
Yes.
anyway, that's the long version. They have a big shootout, and then everybody's fine except for I think the only black guy in the crew.
One of the two.
One of the
Yeah.
two. Yeah, sorry, there is another guy.
He does have to die,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Everybody else can, including the writer director, takes multiple rounds and is
Hmm.
fine.
Totally fine.
But the really the one main black guy on the team, he
Yeah.
got to go because his gun ran out of ammunition. And he ran at a guy with a gun.
Yeah. Classic.
Classic.
So that's the long version. Here is the short version that gives you a better window into this movie. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Can I tell you, we are so on the same wavelength here that let me see. Uh this movie has no script. It
No,
it has an idea and a metric ton of cocaine.
so
That's
much cocaine.
all that was happening. Because, like, the number of times were just very obvious that the characters don't know any lines because they're not given any. They're just given a bump and told action.
Go,
Um,
man, go.
fucking Dog Thompson, do what you gotta do,
Whose
man.
name, his real name is Dog
Dog
Thomas.
Thomas.
Dog Thomas.
Dog Thomas.
You can't make this shit up, man. The
You
80s were
cannot.
nuts.
It's so
Here's the core thread of the movie. Cocaine is amazing and guns are cool.
guns
That's
are
it.
so cool.
The number of shots we get, literally, they're like 30 seconds each of just a gun unloading. Like we just see the barrel.
It is it's so there's so many gunshots. Because you get so many of them like the casings ejecting.
Mhm.
Um, you get a lot of shots where they clearly taped the camera to the gun.
Yeah.
So you got that, and then others where it's just close up on the barrel as it's flashing.
Yeah.
It's so horny for these guys.
It's 13-year-old logic. They were like, again, like you said, every scene is a vague idea and a shitload of cocaine.
Yes.
And then like one or two quippy one-liners that I'm sure the writer director like scrawled on a napkin
Yeah,
and
like
gave it to him. And it's like, I don't know, man, but do this. It's gonna be amazing.
wrote
And
wrote
then
it like in chalk on the mirror they just snorted the cocaine off of.
yeah, are you gonna kiss me after you fuck me so hard? All right, snort it and let's go. Um, yeah, so that's the core third of the movie. But Sam, most critically, what did you think of this movie?
This is legitimately one of the most fun fucking movies I've ever watched.
It's up there with for me. It has the same vibe, but I think way more drugs than it's got Velocipaster in this
Ooh, it
movie.
has Velocipaster. It's like in a lot of ways it is the Born Identity, but the budget is 50 cents and because you blew the rest of it on cocaine.
Yes. Yeah, and here's the amazing thing. If you liked this experience, which spoiler or not spoiler, we're here, it's the review section. This movie is I don't want to do one word anymore. That makes
No,
me think
I
of
it's
Keanu.
too limiting. I
It's
I
too
just want to
limiting.
say whatever the fuck I want now.
Exactly. And this movie is explosively hilarious. Like it feel
It
like if you poke it, it's either gonna come or explode or get angry at me in a like really violent way. I just can't figure this one out, man. It's like
it's so wild. Every scene of this movie is bad.
yeah.
I can't emphasize this enough. This movie is of the worst quality.
Oh, it's yeah.
Nothing is executed well at all, except the casting of Sandra Bullock
Except
and
the
her
casting is
performance.
Sandy B. Yeah, because
Other
yeah.
everything that she is not touching is dog shit. And yet, and yet, it is the most fun dog shit I
Yeah.
have ever seen.
Here's what's amazing about it because to your point about every inch of this being bad and not having a script, that the plot I gave is more structure in this movie than the movie
Vastly.
itself has.
There's so many things that just happen in this movie that don't make any sense, and I
Like,
want to draw attention to one of them.
is it the one I'm thinking of?
Does it have to do with the lady assassin pretending to be an escort?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Which is the whole scene. The whole scene is wild. So Danny, not Mr. Danny, Danny,
Yeah.
is in high school, I think.
Danny, I think, is in college.
It was unclear to me, and I don't care.
No, he says he's graduating college specifically.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he's in college, lives in a dorm, has a roommate. Roommate sucks. Um, and roommate is in their room blasting away on the computer. I don't
Yeah.
remember what he was doing. Every computer sound in this movie is both a gunshot and really cool.
Well, also
Um,
they don't they show you multiple screens of just it looks like
IP addresses, isn't it?
yeah, IP addresses whipping by or just like spreadsheet data just
Yeah,
like whipping by and you're like, "Damn, that Excel shot is cool as hell."
yeah. So it's just him like
All
clack clack clack
right.
clack 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 clack. Um, and then Lady Assassin comes in because she's looking for Danny.
Yeah.
And so she walks in and she's like, "Are you Danny Green?" And he goes, yeah." And she's like, "I'm an escort that your friends hired to fuck you." And he's like, "Huh?" And then she unbuttons her blouse a little bit to
A
show her
little.
bra.
A
Just
little
like
bit.
just a little of her bra. And she's like, I'm gonna fuck you every which way." And he's like, "Cool, cool. Oh, by the way, I this is very important to me. He was wearing a sport coat while he was at his computer.
Yeah.
That's necessary." So he's like, "Well, I gotta go splash some water on my face." And
Yeah, he
so he
basically, well, no, he says, I need to use the restroom. He basically says, well, I gotta go take a shit.
I
So
gotta take a
hang
wet dump. Hold on. And so he goes into the bathroom, and then Lady Assassin buttons her blouse back up, opens the door and ganks this kid as he's trying to climb out a window.
Yeah.
And why go through the whole escort thing if you're ganking this kid?
I for fun, I
It
don't
doesn't
know.
make sense. She could have just been like, "Hey, are you Danny Green?" And if he'd been like, "Yeah," which also doesn't make a lot of sense that he just agreed to that, and then blast him. You don't
Yeah.
have to like debase yourself by showing a bit of your bra and being like, "I'm gonna fuck you every which way to Sunday," and then have him admit that he's got to take a dump. And why is he trying to escape? Why was he wearing his sport coat at his computer? How often do you do that?
Sam, you're missing the most crucial part of this.
Uh-huh.
So earlier in the movie, in a scene you sent me,
Hmm.
Danny is sitting in a chair and his dad gave him, and literally 13-year-old logic. His dad gave him his butterfly knife from Nam, and he's like, "It's pretty cool. My dad gave me his butterfly knife. It's sick as
Which,
hell."
importantly, he cannot handle to save his life. The
Nope.
clip I sent Luke was mostly zoomed in on just the butterfly knife of him just whack, 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 whack,
Quack,
whack,
quack,
whack.
quack, quack, quack.
And it's not doing anything cool. It's like
It's flopping around pretty dangerously.
pretty dangerously, yes.
Yeah. So here's the critical detail you're missing that I clocked immediately and confusingly. There's a guy in a bed behind him, for
Hmm.
all intents and purposes, appears to be a roommate.
Uh-huh.
He is not the same
Wait,
dude.
is he not?
They recast the roommate halfway through the movie because they
But
show
never
that guy.
reshot the earlier scene?
No,
What?
because they show him at the computer later and he's like doing stuff and they're like, "Ah, you Danny's roommate, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Wait, he had a different roommate."
Here's the thing. Us white guys kind of all look the same, and so I guess it worked for me. Because I
Yeah.
was like, that's a kind of not great looking white dude with bad hair.
Well, the
Close
the hair
enough.
is like remarkably different. They didn't try to style them to be
No.
the same because he's got like kind of a very curly mullet.
Uh-huh.
And the other guy had like curly hair, but it was more of a traditional haircut and not the
Except
same level of curls. And he was a bigger guy, and then they just replaced him.
I have to wonder which one was originally cast because they don't always shoot these things chronologically, and I refuse to believe they shot this chronologically.
Yeah, for sure.
So what did they get computer guy and they were like didn't like his reads on I gotta go take a shit, hated that. Get a new dweeb in when
Yeah,
we
get a new
shoot the
dweeb.
roommate scenes later with the
Yeah,
with the fucking righteous butterfly knife.
yeah. Okay, my dad gave me this knife. It's sick as hell. It's basically the line delivery, and I
Clack clack
adored
clack clack
that.
clack 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 clack.
It's so
Ow!
cool. So let's talk about the performances because um and I guess by extension, the target of this season,
Yes.
which is Sandy B. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think of Sandy B's performances in this movie?
Okay. Sandy B made her way on the screen, and I was immediately comforted. I
Yeah.
felt like I was receiving a warm hug, um, which is not healthy. I shouldn't feel that way, and it's not a good sign for my mental health.
Yeah.
Um, should have mentioned it in my therapy session earlier today. Didn't. I'll wait 2 weeks. Um,
Your
she
therapist has to be pretty tired of hearing about this podcast.
probably. She's probably like, God damn, why does he keep doing this? Like, that's the reason I'm still in therapy. And she just like can't figure out how to tell me that like this is killing my brain.
Yeah.
Um, she's first of all charming,
Yeah.
as always. Um, God damn, she's good in this.
She's so good.
It is, let me tell you, it is like putting fucking, ooh, Sir Ian McKellen in your high school production of Bye Bye Birdie.
Yes.
Or actually, I should probably do Midsummer Night's Dream. That makes a little more sense.
I
Because
no, I think Bye
she's,
Bye Birdie. I think
she
for
is
sure.
acting miles ahead of these people.
Yeah, it's unbelievable because she has a scene where she's like, I forget why she's upset. It doesn't matter. This movie makes no sense, but she's sitting in the cafeteria talking to some
Oh,
friends with the
yeah.
library or whatever. She gives a performance.
She's really going for it.
She's
I
like
and like
crying and you can feel the emotion.
and the movie does not deserve this performance because everyone
No.
else, especially Doug Thompson, is phoning this in so hard. I firmly believe Doug Thompson was drunk on set and they gave him cocaine and an AK and said, whatever, man. Whatever. They just said go, and then the director turned to the person next to him and said, "Whatever he does, that's the movie." Because and like there are other really baffling things in this movie. Like anytime there's a conversation in the car, the
It's
audio is
ADR.
shit. No, it's not ADR, my guy.
Did you see the
I'm
lips? I thought they weren't syncing up.
I think I think it's not synced up because I think it's a completely different audio track, and I'm pretty sure they just put a mic somewhere in the car because all the noises are so loud.
Yeah, they are. That's a
And
good point.
like,
Yeah.
because the audio is terrible because you can tell the mic was just like set down on the dashboard or something
Yeah.
because they sound really far away.
They
And
also
then,
have
like,
these like insane pauses in the conversation. Did you
oh
notice
God,
that?
yeah. But my favorite car conversation was in Dog Thompson's car that made no sound.
Hmm.
He has the first fully electric vehicle because this car is silent. There's
Yeah.
no road noise whatsoever. There's no engine running. They're just like, and during one of those weird pauses, it's dead silent,
It's
but this
so
car is
silent.
moving. Whereas like every other time they do have some like car audio. But
Yeah.
for whatever reason, when Doug Thompson drives, they're like, we can't be arsed to do it.
Yeah. Well, the other crazy thing is that anytime the like shadowy CIA guy is involved,
Hmm.
up until the end, and I guess they gave up, he's everybody's audio in those sequences is reverb to hell
Yeah, and for no reason.
for no
And
reason.
they're also like half lit. Every
Yeah.
single person in any phone call really is half lit.
Yeah.
Like, and then I think we have to talk about the violence because
Okay.
I uh I am that parent, and so I'm like, ooh, I'm okay with Lou like within reason watching some of the things that I watch.
Yeah.
I don't want him to see gun violence.
Sure.
That's a hard line for me. I'm okay with some depending. Some, like if people are boning on screen or whatever and it's like, you're not seeing anything like we don't watch a lot of that anyway because usually it's in something that also has a lot of gun violence, but I'm less
Yeah.
bothered by that.
Yeah.
But the
So
gun violence,
Game of Thrones totally fine.
yeah, the incest in Game of Thrones, a-okay for my boy.
Yeah.
John Wick, unfortunately, he's got to get older.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, this thing's called Hangmen. Probably shouldn't watch him rap. I don't know why I was concerned about it because it's so fucking cartoonish.
Yeah.
Um, that I don't even think it counts as violence.
Nope. Nope. Yeah. Down to the fact that there's a beautiful scene where he does this a couple times, Mr. Danny. He will go up to somebody
Uh-huh.
and he will like instead of checking a pulse, which is like kind of a cliche Hollywood thing to do, he
Mm-hmm.
just kind of kicks them
Just
or
gives
puts
him
a
a
gun
kick.
against their head and
My
it's like dink
favorite,
dink dink.
yes, that was my favorite, where there's the guy in the power plant
Yeah, in the
who's
power plant.
obviously dead.
Yeah.
Like blood coming out of his mouth, eyes unblinking and open. He's
Yeah.
slumped against a wall, and Mr. Danny comes up and just pounds his pistol butt into this dead guy's head, like, "You gonna wake up?" And it's like, Mr. Danny, you can just plug him to make sure.
That's what I thought he was gonna do because he puts the barrel up there, and I'm like, damn, he's about to in cold blood just like make sure. But no, he's just going bump bump bump. But
My,
my
can
other
we?
favorite,
Yeah.
yeah, my
No,
other
no,
favorite
no.
part of this scene is that the guy is clearly just faking it. I
Yes.
mean, he's not dead, but they didn't put any amount of effort into being like makeup or like, no, he's clearly just a
Just a
dude.
dude. Like, I'm sure if you look closely and if it were in higher resolution, you would see him breathing.
Yo, and his eyes move as he gets his head banged by a fake pistol. Yeah.
Can I talk about my favorite Mr. Danny moment?
Yeah, I wish you would.
It's early in the movie. And it's when he's in his hideout, I
Hmm.
guess, and he's hacking, I guess, on his computer with his leather jacket collar popped, of course.
Of course.
The only way to hack. And he knows the bad guys are coming. And so he goes to set a trap, which is to put a shotgun upside down, propped up by a book so that it'll shoot into a window. And then he runs off to hide. And you don't see where he hides. And then these people
Hmm.
burst into the building, and one gets shot by the shotgun. Good job,
Yeah.
Mr. Danny. And then the other is walking around Mr. Danny's office. And you can see what Mr. Danny has done is he just crawled under his desk with a gun and put the chair kind of in front of him
Yep.
and gets this guy completely by surprise. And he say like, didn't your mom tell you to knock? Blah blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah.
Which again, the director wrote some shit in cocaine on the mirror for every scene. They all have lines like that. Yeah, he's like, "Didn't your mama ever teach you to knock?" And then he blam 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 blam.
It's so good because it's the shittiest hiding place.
Yeah, he might as
My
well have just like hid behind the waste bin and just
my
like a plant.
yeah, my son would have been able to find him a year ago when he didn't have object permanence.
Hmm.
I like, and then there's so many things where like Mr. Danny does, and I'm using heavy quotes here, stunts, like a slow somersault out of a car
Again,
that's stationary.
it has the same vibe as a Bourne or a Wick, but it's 80s as hell, and the guy in question is just a dude.
He's he's the guy on your block who grills hot dogs too often.
Yeah.
That is Mr. Danny. You're
Yeah.
like, God damn, is he grilling hot dogs again?
He's doing brats again.
And he's always got to kiss the cook
Yeah.
apron.
Yeah, but here he is running around town with an AK. And again, they style him like he's a badass because like you said, he's got the leather coat with the collar popped.
Or other great moments with Mr. Danny are when he's supposed to be like real heated toward the end of the movie, but it's unconvincing because this guy has limp dick energy. So he's just like, I won't put my gun down. I won't do it. I
Oh,
won't put my gun down.
which sorry, brings me to my favorite part of the plot that I forgot to mention. We've seen a lot of movies, like one a
Hmm.
week for 3 years, 3.5 years, and
Yeah.
then a lot since then. Actually, basically one a week, given the other podcasts we do
Yeah.
for like 4.5 years or something stupid. Um, this movie ends more abruptly than any other movie I have ever seen ever, and it is not close.
No, it's so what they kill the bad guy. They walk
Yup,
outside half wounded. The
yup.
entire New York police force, I guess. Yeah, no, it is New York because the Twin Towers are in the movie.
Yes, and
Um,
at some point, Danny runs from New York to the junkyard where Dog Thompson is in
mhm.
Jersey City, and they do not explain this at all.
He just ran over the bridge. It's fine.
He ran to
Um,
Jersey City.
so they come out. The whole NYPD is there, guns drawn, ready to kill these guys. And it's like four dudes. They have three bullets between them, and what is it? Shit, Bone.
Bone
God,
Cone.
Bone. Yeah, Bone Cone. Bone Con. Bone Con.
Con, yeah.
Still an incredible name. Bone Con is basically dead, but not because he's the writer director.
Yeah.
Um, and they're like, the NYPD is like, put your guns down, and they're like, fuck you. It makes no sense. And like it looks like they're gonna get shot by the NYPD. Join the long list of people who have.
Yeah.
Um, and Mr. Danny is really like getting heated, but
Yeah.
unthreateningly because he's had so many brats. Um, and then his like handler drives up, runs in front of the NYPD, and is like, "No, I'm from the CIA." And then he comes over to Mr. Danny, and he's like, "Put your gun down. It's gonna be okay." And Mr. Danny's like, "Fuck you!" And he's like, "No, but for real, do put your gun down. It's gonna be fine." And then the NYPD, like, he puts his gun down, and the NYPD is like, "All right." And then the movie ends.
And you're even selling it a little short because that makes it sound like there's some moments for it to breathe at all. There are none.
None. This
It is
happens
like,
within
yeah,
45 seconds.
yes, it's like, fuck you, put your gun down. Okay, okay, slam into the end of this movie.
Credits.
Credits immediately with the banging guitar music. Because the movie ends and you're like, what the fuck just happened? And then it's like, bam, 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 bam.
Yes. I just I
It's amazing. It's truly
so
fantastic.
good. Can I tell you the one of my thoughts was the Foley budget was $35 in a pack of Marlboro lights. Like, also, I think they missed a really good opportunity for a one-liner because Mr. Danny's ex-wife does get ganked pretty early on
Yeah.
by an assassin who I think is Frankenstein, given the way he moves.
Yeah, for sure.
And later they're like, "Yeah, the assassins came to your son's house, and uh, they killed some people. One of them was your ex-wife." And he did not, to his shame, say, "Looks like I'm off the hook for alimony." There were so many opportunities, Mr. Danny, and you didn't take any of them.
Yeah. I don't want it to go unsaid, too. My favorite scene in this movie is when he buys guns from the guy.
It is so good.
Because the guy, Mr. Danny, has such little riz that he's basically just shopping.
He
They took
is
this like badass scene, and at the end of it, he's like, "Yeah, okay, so I'll take a MiG, or not a MiG, that's a plane, I think."
yeah, it's a Soviet fighter jet. I hate myself. Yeah, he's like, "I'll take like three Mac 10s, couple Berettas,
Not
um,
these, not the M16s.
yeah, not the M16s. Why would you want an assault rifle going into an assault?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "And like seven grenades."
And they're like, I mean, it's literally like he's at Trader Joe's, and he's just like, "Yeah, all right, I'll get the Brussels sprouts, maybe a
It's
steak."
He's putting in his Instacart order, but by phone.
Yeah. It's amazing because it's like they're trying to make him look so badass.
Yeah.
And they just can't wring it out of this guy no matter how hard they try.
Yeah, it's yeah, get me the porterhouse, give me some green beans, not the Brussels sprouts. Uh
Whoa, what a
and
badass.
yeah, I'll take two more packs of brats and some buns.
You nailed it, man, because this guy has perpetual 2.5 brats and 3 beers in energy.
Yes, he does.
Like standing by the pool and he's like, "Yeah, so how's the PTO stuff? You get it worked out for your vacation or
He always has a really light case of the meat sweats. Um I man, I have so many notes is the other
Yeah,
thing. Like, this was so fun. Um
yeah.
oh, I gotta mention one of the ads that I got for Golf Pass, a streaming service for
So
golf.
for golf?
We have too many streaming services if you have one just for golf.
Yeah, for sure. That's ludicrous.
Um, I like, I just, at one point somebody says cheese dick. Loved that.
God damn it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took your
Damn it.
quote, huh?
Yeah, it's okay. I got backups.
There's so many, my
There
God.
were a lot of them, and I got a lot of them on paper before this movie ended. So
Who?
we've already busted two of them though, because we did talk about well, I need to use the restroom. And the exact quote was, beat it, cheese dick.
Beat it, cheese stick. I gotta ask you, who's your favorite character and why is it Dog Thompson?
It's gotta be Doc Thompson.
It's Doug Thompson, a man who Danny comes up and is like, "Hey, you're friends with my dad, Mr. Danny," and he's like, "Fuck you." And he's like, "I'm in a lot of trouble. I need help because my dad, Mr. Danny, told me to find you." And he's like, "Fuck you." And then Danny's like, "People are trying to kill me." And Doug Thompson goes, "All right, I'll kill him."
I'll kill
And
him.
he rifles through a bunch of drawers in his junkyard, finds a pistol with no ammo, and he's like, "Hold on." And so he takes Danny into the back, and then he's like, "Here's my fully loaded AK
Yeah.
that I got in Nam.
Yep.
It is my prized possession." And then, knowing nothing about the men pursuing Danny, he kills all of them.
That's a really good point. He doesn't know jack shit about Danny's situation.
Dog Thompson is a man looking for an excuse to kill.
Yeah, for sure. But again, he makes Mr. Danny look like fucking Tom Cruise because he's if Mr. Danny is three, 2.5 brats and 3 beers in,
Hmm.
Dog Thompson showed up
Never
already.
stopped drinking.
Yes, he woke up drinking.
Yeah. Dog Thompson is the only person keeping Pabst Blue Ribbon
Yes.
afloat.
Yeah, or old Milwaukee. He just like
Yes. Dog Thompson is never out of arm's reach of a fucking 40 of
of a
old
40.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
just,
that guy just off screen was like a truly commendable pile of spent 40s.
and I also love that, like, Dog Thompson, after killing five guys who he does not know, doesn't
Nor
know
does
if they're
he,
good or bad,
right, nor does he know their situation.
none. He was just wanting to kill.
Yeah.
Um, and he's like, "All right, well, let's go round up the crew." And Danny's like, uh, "Should you be driving?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm drunk enough to be good." And Danny's like, "I don't think you could drive drunk. You should drive drunk." And Doc is basically like, "You fucking narc." And then he's just driving. To be clear, we do not endorse drunk driving here. Don't do it.
No.
It's bad. But Doug Thompson fucking can.
Yeah, Doc Thompson is not a role model for anything.
He is not. Um, like, I just I just love Doug Thompson so much.
I can't get over the fact that his build actor name, his SAG name, though nobody in this movie is SAG,
No,
is Dog Thomas.
it's
And they were like,
wild.
that's pretty good, but we're gonna change your last name just to make sure it's clear that you're a different person
Yeah,
in this
so that you're
movie.
fictional.
Hmm.
Which obviously not. This is non-fiction for Doug Thompson. Um, he looks like 80 miles of bad road. I just the other thing that I thought was really interesting is that there's one like really really racist comment,
Oh yeah.
and it is said by the writer director,
A
which I think
classic,
is really damning.
yeah, a quote that Tarantino would have been proud of, delivered by a writer director.
Hmm.
Yeah, like totally a Tarantino move to like step into your own movie and then say some pretty racist bullshit.
Hmm. Um, I let me think of the some of the like my high points because I feel like we're running a little long.
Yeah.
Um, at one point, someone, maybe Danny, is looking at like a New York Post.
Yeah.
No, it's Sandy B, I think. She's looking at the New York Post, and
Yeah.
the headline is "Suicide Teen's Last Wish Denied." I don't know.
Well,
I
you
don't know what
mentioned
that
this.
means.
There's another scene too that I don't know if you remember where the assassin guy that looks like Frankenstein
Mm-hmm.
and some other folks go to a apartment building,
Mm-hmm.
open an apartment, and there's a man and a woman naked in bed, and they blow him away.
Just blow him away.
Is it ever explained why that was in the movie?
Oh, wait,
No.
it is.
Yeah?
That's one of Mr. Danny's old nom buddies. Because after the shootout with Dog
Oh.
Thompson,
They're picking him
the
off.
the bad man
Yeah.
was like, he's rounded up the old crew, go kill him, and so they kill one of them mid coitus.
Yeah, I think I just figured the movie with the director, writer director is like, we're gonna shoot some people mid-coitus. Let's go.
It's gonna be really fucking cool.
Wouldn't it be really
Um,
cool if yeah.
the other is they go to like a diner and Dog Thompson is showing off his AK and everyone's chill with it.
Yeah.
Everyone's
The
really chill with this guy having an AK in a diner.
the postman comes in
Yeah.
and
And
tells Danny he has a phone call. And Danny's like, okay, and goes to the payphone in the back. That's not how the post works. You did so much cocaine, you forgot how the mail works.
my other favorite was the trank shot when that
Mm-hmm.
guy tranks Sandy B, and you get the shot of the obviously unmoving tranquilizer dart and the like fucking paper scene behind it just whizzing by.
Yeah.
So good. Um, I felt like that the most of the movie looks like you filmed a LARP.
I loved the comparison to a high school play because it really
It's
makes it's exactly what it feels like. Because Sandy B sticks out so much,
yes.
and in comparison to everybody else who acts like they're in a high school play
Oh God.
that was produced at the high school.
Um, I I gotta say, um, just a nerd shit thing here. While Mr. Danny is shopping for guns, which again is the standout scene in this movie,
Yes, it is.
I let me tell you, if we were ever to do a worst idea of all time season, I
Hmm.
actually want it to be this movie. I
Oh,
think I could
really?
actually watch this movie 52 times and have a blast each and
Oh,
every time.
I didn't know about that, man.
Because I think every time the gun shopping scene would be the high point.
I
Every
would,
watch.
yeah. I'd pitch an alternative bad idea to
Uh-huh.
worst idea. So I was going to say as a closer for this episode, but I'll say it now. If you like this extremely 80s flavor,
Mm-hmm.
because even for the 80s, this movie is swinging
It's
for the
yes.
fucking fences.
Yes.
We looked up the writer director. He's made 25 movies,
Oh my God.
and just judging from titles alone, they are all
I
like
think
this.
so, yeah.
He never quit up into the 90s and 2000s. He didn't stop making this flavor of movie.
He never stopped doing cocaine.
Hmm.
Um,
So a worse idea, I
of
think, would be going with this guy's oeuvre instead of
ooh,
Sandy B's.
that would I can't do that. I
No, no, no,
can't
no, no.
I can't let Sandy down like that.
No.
But that gun shopping scene, at one point, the mobster
Yeah.
that is doing this is like, how about a law? Um, or a laws, and both are accepted. And Mr. Danny is like, who again served in Nam in the special forces, turns around and one of the henchmen is holding the law, which is a bazooka.
Hmm.
And Mr. Danny is like, holy shit, I don't need a fucking bazooka or whatever.
Hmm.
He would fucking know what that is. And he would also know it's a bazooka because law stands for light anti-tank weapon.
Yeah. Okay. That
He
makes
would know
sense.
this. And so the fact that he's like, well, hot shit, what? It is like, yeah. Um, so I loved that. Um, I also liked that for the big final scene, the final shootout, which was again impossible to follow. Mr. Danny kind of like his sort of like camo thing for his face kind of looks like he just bailed out of doing blackface.
Yeah, it's like he started to make an extremely problematic Halloween costume.
Uh-huh. And then he
And
was like,
then,
wait a minute.
wait a second. Hold up now.
Hold on. Only Bone Con can do the racism here, and then he just kind of wiped off the middle.
Yeah, he realized that he might want to run for office someday. But actually, if that
Yes.
was the case, he would have gone ahead with it.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah.
And then I love the bad guy when he finally goes down. He falls a long way down to his death, and they do a shot of him falling, and it is such an obvious mannequin.
It's just a mannequin.
It's just a fucking mannequin that they strap some clothes to.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's not even the same clothes that he's
No,
wearing.
it's
It's just
not.
like business casual, and they chucked a mannequin off a roof. Cocaine is a good drug, it turns out.
I want to watch this movie more, if I'm being honest. Like if we did like a Hanks in the rear view for this season,
Yeah.
I actually would just want it to be this movie every time.
All right. Put a pin in it, man.
Um, do you have any final thoughts?
I said my piece about the writer director, so and most of my notes are just about estimating how much cocaine they did.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot.
I
A
think a
a
yeah,
lethal amount.
I think a garbage bag, like a
Ooh, yeah.
larger than the kitchen sized garbage bag's worth,
Mm-hmm.
like a
Like
lawn care level garbage
yeah,
bag.
or like one of those like when you see like in public places those big drum trash cans.
Yeah,
One of those garbage bags.
yeah, for sure. A
Yeah,
week, probably.
I think that
Um,
sounds fair.
yeah. So that's it. That's all I got. But man, what a bombshell start
I
to season four.
I think this might be the best start to a season we've had. Splash, admittedly, was very good.
We were so hard on those early Tom
We
movies.
were. We
We had
were.
no idea, literally none, what we'd been given with like Bachelor Party.
Yeah, in my defense, I had moved into my house the day prior.
True.
So,
Yeah.
and actually, much like that day, I have a steak that I need to cook.
Yeah.
So, next time, Luke, we're going to be watching Who Shot Pat, the 1989 film.
Okay.
What do you think it's about?
Isn't the Warren Commission the JFK one?
Yes, I believe so.
I think this is a much more low stakes. Someone did die. Pat's dead.
That's gone.
But it's like a weird college crime. Something
Hmm.
went wrong. And it's a group of college kids forming their own Warren Commission to try to
Ooh,
figure out who shot Pat?
Who Shot Pat?
Who shot Pat? Almost like a
Fascinating.
only murders in the building,
Yeah.
but for who shot Pat.
Ooh, okay. I
Yeah,
like it. I like
what do
it.
you think who shot Pat's about?
This is someone saw Clue, the movie,
Hmm.
loved it, and said, I want to do that, but I want the victim to be Pat Sajak from Wheel of Fortune.
Good target. Not that I want him
And
dead. Didn't say that.
yeah, I mean, saying good target does imply that you want someone to
I
gank
just
Sajak.
I think his politics are pretty rancid, so
Oh, are they?
I'm
Well,
pretty sure they're really, really rancid.
ruh for you, Pat. Luke's gunning for you. Um, but yeah, so I think it is a clue-like mystery of figuring out who shot Pat Sajak. It
Nice.
was Vanna White,
Oh yeah, of course.
played by Sandy B. I feel like Sandy B is playing Vanna White.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, folks, until then, you can find us on Facebook at Hanksy Panksy Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Hanksy Panksy Pod. You can send us an email, hanksypanksypod@gmail.com. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/hanksypanksy. Please go over there. We're doing some neat stuff. We got a new series up there, Ad and Lib Again, a podcast tale, where we're doing the Lord of the Rings movies. And then eventually Ken and I will do Mackin' at the movies again. It's been hard to find the time, you know? And we got some other things cooking, some fun stuff. And if you chuck us enough money, you can be one of Hanks's heroes like Tuck and Daniel. And fellas, I'll give you all the fucking cocaine you can ask for. Luke,
Amazing.
do you have a final quote?
I do. We're kind of scraping the barrel here, bottom of the barrel, but I think my quote is going to be I'm going to read it like a lobster fisherman from Maine,
Ooh, okay.
but I think it was said by Danny to Sandy B.
Okay.
And it is my father or my stepfather. Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, folks, this has been Hanksy Panksy. No bullocks. We'll catch you next time with 1989's Who Shot Pat?